Welcome, Walnut. I'm Lara, but you can call me Laz, your host for Walnut Wednesday. This is your reminder to be brave, be yourself, and know that you can make the world a better place just by what you decide today. Here, I'm going to share my weekly walnuttings with you on a Wednesday.
Welcome, Walnut, to another episode of Walnut Wednesday, and this is the most special episode of the year of my life. It is episode 100! And I'm here with Kate Bromley, my best friend, who makes a wonderful guest appearance every 100 eps. So welcome, Kate.
Every 100, every 10th as well.
Yes, I love it. And
it's the 10th appearance. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Lara.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And we're obviously going to have a conversation about our conversations, but I kind of want to talk about myself a little bit too. So I'm welcoming the questions. And Walnut, if you're listening to this on Walnut Wednesday, this episode is also really cool because Kate and I are streaming this into the Walnut Tree on Facebook. So we've got our audience with us right now at the same time, so asking questions and things. So yay! And I'm seeing love hearts. Hello. So welcome, Walnut Wednesday, episode 100. I don't even really know where to begin. I might start with the fact that I slept in, and this is a true testament to how much I've grown in my walnut journey as well, because my previous episodes, and I was listening back to some with Kate and I would listen back to episode number 10. I used to really plan and fret and try and streamline my episodes. And this morning I woke up with 15 minutes to spare. I wanted to do a makeup for this. I wanted to get a mimosa and all the things. But I've got my little coffee with my little cow cup and had to set up the, all the tech stuff in full trust that I would make it for the start time. And I had a little bit of frettingness, and Kate lovingly you messaged me saying permission to chill out and be late. But I think that just rolling with it for episode 100 and not getting too stressed out about being here on time and things like that and preparing questions or anything like that is such a product of my journey of my walnutting, of my trust in myself, of my growth. Anything to add there, Kate?
Oh, I totally agree. That's why I gave you, I was like, don't worry. And you're like, I'm actually not. And I thought, well, that's awesome. That just goes to show the proof there, because you're nearly 2 years into this podcast. That's insane. It's huge congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so happy. I can't believe it. For a person that is, doesn't really stick to diets or doesn't really stick to much, I have shown up 100 times every single week, 10 out of 10 times with Kate, and the rest with me and with other amazing guests, all people who I love and adore. This podcast, I'm getting emotional. This podcast is such a piece of my soul. I share so much of my personal things. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to have you here with us, Walnut. So without further ado, let's crack into Kate and I yarning as per usual.
Wait, I love it.
So, Kate, do you want to just introduce yourself in case there is a walnut here who has not met you yet?
Sure. Yes. So I'm Kate, and I am one of Lara's best friends. We've known each other since uni. I live in London, so I am in a different time zone, which is why I checked in on the situation. I should be drinking. Oh, well, I've got fizzy water right now. We just have really good chats. I feel like I've always kind of been able to talk to Lara about anything and vice versa, and we could challenge each other. So it's been like really cool seeing you on this journey, but also even more special that you kind of brought me along with you, you know. And it helps a bit because I'm in film production, so I can do a bit of editing here and there. But I think you would have, you know, offered to bring me in either way, really. We always have deep chats. It's who we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And I've said this on a live video explaining to the Walnuts, but it actually started as like this little joke where we were going in episode 10. Kate and I were going on this like tangent, as you've noticed if you've been here the whole way, we do a lot. But we were going on this other tangent, and then Kate, you said a comment about, oh yeah, we'll talk about that on episode 20, and I was like, yeah. And then offline I was like, do you actually? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. I'm like, I was low key like, can I though?
Yeah. And the funny thing about these episodes as well is that it's literally like the Kate and Laz show, because it's how we talk, right, Kate? Like this is exactly how we speak in real life when we're together or on our FaceTimes. You're getting like a full look into live conversations being recorded, basically.
Okay, because like, especially with the distance, you know, we voice memo each other a lot. And so I might hear a quote or have had a conversation. I'd be like, this was really interesting food for thought. And basically the only thing that changes then I'd say, maybe we should talk about your podcast, because I'd have done it either way. But then it was like, you know, oh, this could be a good idea for episode 40 or whatever. Because that's genuinely the kind of stuff we talk about, that and like films and TV, but that's a whole, maybe we'll start a whole other podcast for that one.
I literally was thinking that last night. I was like, oh, I wonder if maybe the Walnuts will want to hear about our like nerdy film topics. And I was like, wait, we could actually start our whole own podcast just on films and TV shows we watch. But
yeah,
again, tangent, little joke now, might turn into something later, but you know.
Who knows?
You never know. But I just want to acknowledge the people here live. We've got Anna, hello, welcome. And we've got Shirley welcoming us, welcoming you live. Welcome to episode 100. And while I'm on that note, actually, I know we have a couple of shout outs that where people have asked some questions and things, so I might just crack into that really quickly. So if you are here live, just let us know and say hello and contribute as if you were just normally on a live video, because collaboration's key. I want to hear from you, and so does Kate. While that's loading and taking its sweet time, I will try and remember at the top of my head, but I don't, so that's okay. I'm nearly there. Stand by.
There definitely was a question, I can't remember who by, but about the future of the podcast. So ooh, that was one, yeah, for you.
The future of the podcast?
Yeah, like where do you see it going?
That is such a good question, and I didn't see that because I don't feel like I'm mentally prepared for that question or that vision. The thing with me is I'm a non-specific manifester, so I don't actually, when I visualize or manifest stuff, I don't see what it looks like. Like I don't see like the white picket fence with like the blue trim and the red roof. Like I see how I feel within a space. So I think Walnut Wednesday, I think the podcast is going to keep going for me. I have no intentions to stop doing this at all. Yeah, I think it's evolved a lot more into other things, but the podcast has always remained the constant, which I think that's actually a really important thing for me to have that there. What do you think, Kate, on that?
Well, I was thinking that you probably didn't think about episode 100 when you started. You probably thought maybe like as far as getting to the 10th one when you asked me if I'd come on for the 10th one. So like what's next for the podcast is a great question, because it's like, oh, we'll see. I feel like that might be like kind of your speed. But I think it's just really cool that there's no plans to stop it, because it's like, why would you? You know,
well,
it's awesome.
I think that's the thing, right? I'm never going to stop walnutting. I'm never going to stop putting myself into situations where I feel scarce-sighted, or where I feel like nervous, or where I don't want to do something but know it's the best thing for me. So there's no reason to kind of stop. I haven't hit any kind of ceiling, because I'm always moving. I'm always trying new stuff. And yes, it's like an evolution. And probably the things that I walnutted on first don't scare me as much anymore, but there'll always be something new, right?
Yeah. And just, the way I feel like the time we're living in is almost sort of, maybe everyone feels like the time's kind of revolutionary, but I feel like there's so much changing with challenging societal norms, and women being able to kind of fight and do what they want, but also there's still a lot of stuff in our way, and all these things that it's like there are challenges probably we don't even know that we face, or that we passively accept. And the more we're being kind of aware or brought to the party on things, the more like to kind of harp back to one of our podcasts, that space thing as well. Like when I read that article, I didn't even know that's what I was doing, and it was really cool to see how many people resonated, or then were like, oh, I didn't notice that until you said it. I feel like that's why Walnut Wednesday will always be relevant, because it's like there's always things that need to be challenged or can be changed that right now we might not be in the space for yet, but in the next few weeks, months, years, might be a whole new set of what it means to be a walnut.
Yes, I love that. And so yeah, you're part, I think, like I've said this somewhere as well, Walnut, you're like literally part of history. Oh no, I said it in Snack Hacks. You're part of Walnut history, because I'm winging it as I go too, and I'm just sharing with you along the way. So who knows what the hell's going to happen going forward. But either way, I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy to have you here with me. And the episode that Kate was referring to is Feminist and Honest Conversation. It's one of our later ones, and she gave a really good example about taking up space. So I encourage you to go back and listen to it. I know, Anna, it's one of your faves. You mentioned to me last night. And Anna's going to love this, because this topic actually segues into something that I did want to talk about with you, Kate, but we'll see how we go. Stana is here. Hello, Stana. Welcome. Stana has actually always already been on the podcast as well, so welcome. Oh yes, that was Stana's question. So I hope that answers your question, Stano, and I hope you were here live when we were talking about it. I also want to give a shout out to Briar Patch, one of my other besties. Hello, welcome to Walnut Wednesday, episode 100. I also want to shout out Rachel White, who is my friend, and I'm also coaching with her at the moment. I love you, Rachel. You're so beautiful and delicious, and thank you for all you do for me. And then that's just me putting some musings in there. And then we had another question from Anna. How do you stay motivated when you don't feel like it, whether it's filming or editing or preparing? How do you get up and do it when you just feel meh?
Good one.
So this is a really good question, Anna. I literally did this yesterday. I have been really focusing on, since Walnut Wednesday started, my self-care and really honouring my body and my self-love as well. So it's a bit easier for me now to pick up on when I do feel exhausted and things like that. I've also been following and tracking my cycle a little bit more, and what that actually means for my, like, not only physical body, but like my mental and spiritual body as well. So story time. Are you ready for story, Kate? So I got my period day one, and I had a whole day of painting yesterday that needed to be done. And the last thing you want to do when you're on perioding all over the land is going to paint a 3-story house. But here we are, and we had to do it. So in typical generator fashion, I do have that life force energy to do stuff even when I don't feel like doing it. But what I really consciously did was to really sink into relaxing beforehand, giving myself that time to slowly wake up. I didn't rush to get dressed or anything like that. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I know I'll do it. I know it will get done. But just really I think the key when you feel meh is giving yourself the permission to feel meh, if that makes sense. Do you have anything to add there, Kate?
It's a really good one. I really struggle with it. Like, I think that's why I'm so impressed that you've shown up 100 times for this podcast, and you do other little lives and things. I think what's cool too is sometimes when you do your little live streams, you're kind of in a man mood at that time. You know what I mean? And you're just being like, this is how it is. But I really struggle with it unless I find it easier when I'm accountable to other people. So, I was lazing around on the couch, an hour ago, but I need to show up for you. So I put on clothes, essentially, is what I did. And then, going for, if people struggle for exercising or things, like the only way I've been able to exercise pretty much is by joining a team, because I have to be there for the team. And I enjoy it, obviously. So when you're feeling mad, like, having that moment, sometimes being like, this feels crap. And then just being like, I'll just put on my shoes, or I'll just get up and brush my teeth, or do the little things can help you get through that to the thing that you have to do. But to be honest, man, it's hard. I wish there was a snap your fingers kind of cure for that, because that is hard to shake off when you feel that way.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, Anna, if your question was in relation to the podcast as well, because you mentioned filming, editing, or preparing, I totally just sink into that as well. The podcast I have shown up in times where I'm like fully in the storm in a teapot, or in the high of a feeling or in the low of a feeling, as well. So I completely share in that moment. But there's things like I've got around me right now, like my ring light just went out. I've got a microphone set in like a laundry basket thing. Like, sometimes I really don't feel like setting up my camera and stuff like that. And there are some episodes recorded where it's just on my laptop and I haven't even plugged a microphone in or anything like that. Like, I think there is this pressure that comes from actually nowhere but our own minds sometimes, where we feel like we just have to do the thing, but if we said out loud that we didn't want to do the thing, no one would mind anyway. If that makes,
or that idea as well of being able, like the way you explain it just then, like it's thinking that showing up means much more than it does. Showing up means having to have your hair done, or you're wearing the right clothing, or having the ring light fully charged, or whatever it is. And that if it's not going to be all those things, it's like, oh, well, either, or that putting that extra pressure on yourself, which adds to the meh feeling, because you start listing all the things you have to do. When really, if it is a matter of just opening your laptop and doing the recording, you've still 100% shown up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So minimizing, sometimes being like, and this is, I agree with this. Again, one of your wonderful guests talking about being lazy and successful. Sometimes it's like, do the bare minimum. As long as you're doing something, still better.
Yeah, totally. Oh, Emily's here. Hello, Emily. And Anna says, I've missed a couple comments here. Stano says, she caught the end of her question, so she'll catch the beginning later, or you can catch it on Walnut Wednesday, episode 100 next week. Anna says, it's a mood, lol. My Ramsicle is here. Hello.
Oh.
And Anna says, yes, like taking baby steps, which is, that minimizing thing, what you were saying, Kate. So, yeah. And then Emily says, yes, so much pressure to tick all of the boxes, but just being there is the biggest thing. Yeah, just stepping into it. Just even if you just it's the big toe in the water, like, but intentionally put your big toe in the water. Enjoy where you are and how you're feeling, and let yourself feel the feelings. I say this all the time, but just feel the feelings. There's nothing wrong with feeling the feelings. I think that we're coming to a new age where feelings are being felt very openly, but I think our generation as well, there still is that stigma, like, oh, don't call in sick, or, I work so hard, I work for 9 hours today, and it's just like, what for? The paradigm is changing.
So true. I struggle going back, and I've been in an office a couple times which has been the first time in ages because the UK has obviously been pretty shocking with the whole COVID thing. And I was like, how do people do this? No one can sustain the same energy or focus level throughout the entire day. And yeah, we do it. You know, it doesn't mean we're working as efficiently the entire day, but like we're kind of encouraged in some ways, we have been, to not necessarily take too many breaks or have your lunch at your desk and things like that. And, you know, my job isn't even, you know, saving lives. Like people who work in hospitals and police or, you know, other things, they also have those harrowing hours where they don't really get to take breaks. And I was just thinking, man, why have we set it out like this? This is like, it's not even working, you know? I can't remember how I got onto that, which is a classic thing for me to say, but
no, it's a great segue, actually.
It's just been on my mind because I think what we're trying to like say is, you know, like when I'm at home, I can take breaks and still get everything done. I think that was the point, like it'll get done and you know, not to worry too much. And so, yeah, there's a lot of these things that we feel and these pressures, and they're just kind of made up. They don't serve anyone.
Yeah, and I want to go down. I'm just going to go down the rabbit hole because we keep kind of like touching it a little bit and then going off it. But
Go on.
I was literally having this conversation with my former work wife / life partner Jamie the other day, and we're talking about periods because obviously I have my period, so everyone knows about it. And we were talking about. She said a comment about how she hates having her period, and I was like, why though? And she was like, she said something.
Love
and then I said, I'm really embracing my period on a woo-woo level because of all, you know, all the archetypes and all the things, blah blah blah, and getting to know my body. And she goes like, I personally hate bleeding out for 7 days and blah. And I was like, yeah, but why? And then I sent her this big long message. It was on Snapchat, so I can't read it out to you now, Walnut, but it was like about the question is, why do you feel like you hate your period? Because you need to do stuff. When we're on our period, if we go back to like indigenous tribes and stuff, they have red tents. The women like literally sit for 5 to 7 days and just have their period and bleed and be all spiritual and connected to source and all the things. But we are in, I hate to say it, a man's world, because the working system, the 9 to 5, you know, normal corporate, not even corporate, the normal working life is actually based on the male hormonal cycle. And I think we've touched on this a little bit, Kate, or I know that I have in a couple of episodes too, but on a science level, this isn't even me woo-wooing you into woo-woo town, but on a hormonal level, a man cycles every day, every 24 hours, whereas we as women, so that repetitive 9 to 5 thing is based on a man's cycle. Whereas a woman is, you know, we cycle around every 28 days, or, you know, every month, every week-ish, we're sort of changing moods and things like that. So yeah, I've been in a space where I've been really honoring those different transitions into my new thing and being okay with that, you know. Like, it's such a hide your period, PMS is bad because you're a woman. It actually, if you peel it all back, it stems right back to patriarchy. And I hate to say it, but it is a thing. Kate, go. I know you've got something.
100%. Well, when you were saying it at the beginning, my first reaction was like, well, yeah, I mean, but who really likes getting their period? And I thought, no, what I actually hate the most is having to live life pretending like I don't have my period right now. I'm on a film set and I can't sit down for 6 hours, and I'm just thinking, I really should have gone and changed some stuff around, but I can't really leave set right now. And I'm just thinking, do I smell? I'm really uncomfortable right now. Like, yeah. But however, I don't think I'd be as bothered about my period, and I know I'm not, when I'm sitting around at home in my pajamas, or, you know, if I could just say, oh, you know, I'm not gonna, and which we can work from home a little bit now, but sometimes just being like, no, I'm not gonna do that thing, or have to run that marathon or whatever it may be. So Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the cramps and other things that come with it, but actually the probably the biggest thing that stresses me out that I dislike about my period, and it's been less so because I'm more vocal about it now, was having to shove a tampon up my sleeve to go to the bathroom because God forbid anyone sees me holding a tampon on the way to the bathroom, or thinking,
Yeah.
oh, I might be getting it later today and I've got to be at work sitting at my desk. Better put something in there so I don't end up just bleeding at work. So it's actually all the anxiety around it. Like I hated high school for that. I was always terrified of getting teased or caught out. And it's like something that half the world goes through, probably slightly less, but like, on a monthly basis, and that the whole world knows about. Like it's like if we all had to secretly, shamefully hide blowing our noses or something. Like it's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah. No,
It's
you're so right.
interesting, when you peel it back, and I talked about this in Snack Cakes a little bit, and there are some comments, and Stana says, yes, we talked about this in Snack Cakes, and I always
Yeah.
think about the man versus woman cycle. Yeah, it's a real thing. I kind of talk about it everywhere. Me and Stana talked about period shame as well the other day, about how like it was so embarrassing at school, and you wouldn't want anyone to hear like the pad or like the wrapping paper of the tampon crackling in the toilet, because like then they will know you got your period. It's like, why? Because men are scared of periods.
And
That's
because
what
also,
happened back in the day.
and that whole top dog woman thing too, particularly at high school, is like you don't want anyone to think they've got something on you. Whereas now, like you adjust, and it was still a secret thing, but we had a group chat at my old office, which was just a red blob. So if anyone was caught short, they could put a message in the group, and a girl could be like, "Come to my desk, go to the drawer." And even though that meant we couldn't just be like, "Oi, can I have a tampon?" because we weren't there yet, it also meant we were all allies as women, rather than also trying to hide it, adding an extra element of stress from hiding it from literally everyone. Now I just
That's
tell people.
lovely.
Now I'm just like, I think if you're uncomfortable, that's on you, you know?
Yeah, that's really nice. We have like jars in my office. There's like jars of sanitary items. Actually, I think no, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
That they should be free.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm like getting all radical. No. Randy says woo-wooing into woo-woo town. Yes, as you know, I tend to do that a lot. Stana says, me too, Kate. Periods at college were rough. I made a point when I was teaching primary school kids to talk about periods with the girls and boys who wanted to, and it lit me up when the girls were so open about it. Oh my God, I love it.
Because boys are often kind of curious too, but they don't know how to ask. They're like, how do you pee when you've got your period? And you're like, wow, you were not paying attention to sex ed, were you? But like being able to tell them, then maybe they were not going to make fun or be as awkward if they're also aware. So yeah, that's such a good point. That's so lovely, kids being able to just not go through what we went through.
Yeah, I know, it's like not passing down the torch. Dano also says, fuck, this topic gets me so fired up. Me too. And Kate as well. And I'm sure every other Walnut listening to.
I think I'm always a little on fire these days. So like doesn't take much to just like make the flame go bigger.
It's because the veil has been lifted, and you can kind of just see stuff for how they evolved and how it sort of happens. On that topic of
that it's everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I just wanted to touch on the topic of boys being curious, because a little while ago I did an episode where I put my period blood on my face, and this is really, notice how I like whisper that quietly, because it's taboo and weird and strange, and it is a bit esoteric, and it is jumping on the woo woo train, going all the way to period blood woo woo land. Like but I wanted to try it, right? I just wanted to try. I wanted to see how I would feel, and you can go back and listen to the episode. I haven't done it. I think I've done it only 2 times in my life, but I wanted to try it. I wanted to see what it felt like, and I wanted to see what not all the fuss, but I wanted to see what it felt like for the people that religiously kind of do it, right? But this episode came out, right, and this was a really big walnutting actually, to post the podcast episode title. I put period blood on my face, and to post, I think I even had a picture, and And I had a couple of my guy friends, they don't ever talk about Walnut Wednesday, that, you know, we hardly ever, they say, how's it going, or like, are you still doing that, or whatever, but they don't bring up anything that I kind of discuss or go live about or anything like that. And I was at a party once, and a couple of my mates said, yeah, what tell me about that. And there is this curiosity, right, despite it being like weird and also ooh, and I'm not going to even get onto the discussion I had about the actual act itself, but yeah, the boys are actually kind of curious too. And I feel like maybe in some ways men in this generation, they are a little bit oppressed of learning that knowledge because of the years of it being so hidden and so yuck as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna boo-hoo the men too much, but the fact is all of their barriers that they put up for women keep them on the other side too, which are also barriers in themselves. So it's like literally breaking down the barriers only benefits everyone. So, you know, it does make sense that guys would be curious. And it's cool that they asked you, because like we said, like asking those questions and things, that's brave of them too, because you don't know what kind of reception you might get. Plus, you know what? Like, people eat placentas. I don't know. That's just the thing I was thinking. I was like,
Yeah,
isn't that weird? People, you know, keep umbilical cords or whatever. Like, you know, my mom used to have a bag full of teeth, but not, you know, mine and my sister's, baby teeth and stuff like that. Not just
I was
random
immediately
people.
thinking of that show, Sharp Objects.
You know, but like, it's only weird until it's not weird. Like all things, we do a lot of weird stuff anyway, and we just accept it. So why not that?
I love it. I love it so much. And I wanted to, in this episode, go back onto the theory, onto the thing of confidence, because we first, Walnut Wednesday is all about, you know, at its essence, being brave, and it was like my finding my way to feeling confident. And Kate, you actually mentioned that confident back in, this is episode 10, Fake It Till You Make It. You said something about confidence being surface when you're looking at it from the outside, because we all feel the feelings. But I think that over like my walnut journey as well, and Kate, I would love to hear your point of view too, because we were both at a time in our lives when we recorded episode 10, so just taking a walk down memory lane. You were still in your flat. You had just-ish gone into freelancing, and I was still at the travel agency. Like, so confidence was a really big topic and a really big part of both of our lives at that time. And I feel like for me, it's changed so much more from looking at someone going, oh, she's so confident, because I've been doing so much like inner work. And I kind of wanted to talk about confidence a little bit more, Kate. I think I've waffled myself into a thing, so I'll let you take the wheel.
No, I wish I had re-listened to it fully, but I know, and I stand by, I guess the whole idea was that when you do see someone who's confident, instead of being like, oh, I wish I could be more like them, thinking, oh, they probably are a lot like me, but with confidence also in themselves. Maybe that's not even what I said, but that's what I feel like. I really do think faking to making it is a good idea, because it's sort of manifestation, essentially, being like, well, if I act confident and things go all right, you know, and people are responding to me in a good way, and they see me like that, and maybe again, it's coming from being a woman. Like, a confident woman might not get talked over as much, but then also might be thought of as bossy, but I won't go down that. But yeah, I think, you know, you don't necessarily have to believe that you're confident in order to exude it. You need other people to believe it at first. or like, not necessarily need them to, but you can do that. You can kind of exude it, and it's sort of, I wonder what the difference is between meeting someone who's sort of faking it to making it and someone who is inside and out confident, whether you can tell. I guess, you know what I mean? Like, I've definitely had times where I'm like, I'm just gonna wing this, but I feel like if I put on a brave face, no one will notice. And other times I'm like, oh, I dare anyone to challenge me because I know my shit, you know? But I would say externally to everyone else, probably both of those people look the exact same. So only kind of, you know, inside whether you feel it right to your core. But but yeah, I don't know. I can't even remember what the kind of point of it was, maybe whether it was to kind of fake it as a way to kind of end up feeling it, and whether I necessarily think that that works for everyone or not. I kind of think it worked for me. I certainly knew that being shy or being doubtful wasn't going to serve me. I could do it, and you know, I could do it in my, I could yeah, I could doubt myself and things like that. But you can also ask people's opinions or look for kind of advice in a way that doesn't self-deprecate yourself, like, oh, you know, I'm really stupid, can I just check this thing, rather than being like, look, I think it's this, I could be wrong, what do you reckon? And the fact, like, confidence doesn't mean having all the answers, it means being secure enough to be able to, like, you know, collaborate with people or ask other people's advice and that kind of thing. I think I wouldn't want anyone thinking faking it till you making it is just pretending you know everything and have all the answers and never ask anyone any questions, because honestly, that you will get caught out on that one, and we all know those people who do that and we hate them. Yeah, I don't know, it's interesting, I guess. Do you feel like, you know, do you feel like your view or your perception or your experience of confidence has changed as you've found it more within yourself, maybe more authentically or in a different way than you expected?
So I used to fake it till you make it. For me, it's never sat well because of just how I am as a person. I physically cannot go into a room and pretend that I am comfortable about being there, as you probably know as well, Walnut. Like, I just can't. So I will go into a room and go, or speak up in front of a group and go, I'm not good at group speaking, bear with me. And, you know, I kind of have to, it's always formally been like my safety net, right? Like, oh, in case I fuck up, in case I embarrass myself, look really meek and weak so that people think it's cute. That thought doesn't cross my mind, but probably subconsciously does. I'm really calling myself out here, but so people think like, "Aw," or feel sorry for me, or like give me a little bit of slack, or whatever. So that's always been my version of protecting myself in terms of when I don't feel confident. But I think as I've kind of grown, I still can't speak in front of a group. My hands still like shake and my voice goes all crackly. And sometimes, depending on the situation, I do say, okay, I'm not good with group speaking, bear with me. But it's not coming from a place of, in case I fuck up, I'm just going to say it. It's actually like I'm actually not good at this. This is not my strength. I have strength in other places. So
by the way,
it's changed.
You can, though. Like you said, I can't speak in front of a group. What you're saying is, I'm not comfortable doing it, but you do it. Is that not, yeah, you literally do it. And I think quantifying, like, hey, you know, I haven't done this before, or look, you know, this isn't my favorite thing, kind of makes people go, oh yeah, don't worry. And it kind of helps you relax. I think that's fine to do something that makes you feel more comfortable. But I think that thing before, which is, it's subtle, but trying to be like almost I don't want to say playing dumb because that sounds too, but, you know, that girl doing that in class.
That's been a huge thing for me. Yeah, is playing it down, like, not
the damsel a bit, you know, of look, if I make it so obvious I don't like to do this, no one can say you didn't do a good job because, man, I told them to have low expectations, you know. And I feel like that probably didn't serve you because you're telling people like not to take you seriously. But going up and saying, this isn't my favorite thing, and I don't really like to talk in front of groups, so bear with. And then you go and do it, means someone's watching going, well, she did really well considering she doesn't enjoy doing that. And like, I think that is kind of you're doing something you don't want to do. So you're kind of just having to like compartmentalize to get through it. And I think that's really brave. you know? I know a lot of people who don't like speaking. I don't like it. I get really mean about it. I just, I'm like, everyone leave me alone. I've got to do a speech.
Yeah.
But, that's interesting that you could kind of make the comparison, I guess. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I still do the same thing, but the energy behind it is now coming from a different place. And I also like your reframe of the words there as well, Kate. Like, I wouldn't have thought to say, I'm not good at it. I'm actually, I actually do it. So,
yeah. I mean, you're doing
changing
it
that
now.
to I don't enjoy doing this or something like that. I like that reframe, which I will use going on into life.
And I remember that in school, everyone had to do speeches and it was always an assignment. And I just thought, why? Why do we all have to do that? Particularly now, like my friend got told at her work, she's an assist, like a PA, I think. And in one of her reviews, her boss said something like, yeah, it'd be good if you just kind of lead more in the meetings, like, speak up more and have a segment. And like, she was thinking to herself, she's like, I hate it, but also, how is that anything to do with my job? I don't even know what these people talk about. I'm the assistant, and he, wasn't going to get let go. And it was a Zoom call. And I said to her, I was like, turn your camera off. Don't have your camera on. They can't make you do that. You've got technical issues or whatever. I said, turn that off, because at least if they can't see you and you can read on a bit of paper or do whatever you need to do, that makes you more comfortable. I said, because honestly, I think it's ridiculous that you're being made to do it. So the least you can do for yourself is make it the most kind of comfortable as possible. And she did that. But it was just kind of, I always found it weird, people insisting that we do certain things and jump through certain hoops in order to be prepared for life. Like, it's just, yeah, maybe that's why fake it till you make it was the kind of term I used, which was just like going somewhere in your head being like, well, this is going to be over in 5 minutes, and I'm just going to pretend that this is all fine and then it will be over. So yeah, I don't know, I think the reason, I'm sorry, I'm going another tangent, but I do remember actually a speech I had to do at school. That's probably why I was thinking about it. And that was the first time I did do the fake thing. I remember reading the speech and almost being two people. And I tried to make it funny and the jokes were like working, which is good. But in my head, it was the real Kate going, wow, you sound all right. That's well done. That's definitely not how you feel. Like, and it was like, I was thinking like exterior Kate, it was separate. And I was like watching it being like, that's how you want it to sound. Weird, because you do not feel like that at all. And I kind of learned that gave me confidence, knowing that I could almost, for lack of a better word, like fool everyone and be like, you didn't even know I was nervous. Was my faking it and making me feel confident, knowing like I can do it, in the sense of I can not show weakness, maybe. So yeah, I don't know. There's a few more layers to fake it till you make it than I probably thought originally.
Yeah.
Because showing a shaky hand, which I've definitely done, is also, what's wrong with that, But I didn't want to let that happen. So I was like, you're going to put on your, armor, and you're gonna get through the speech, and it's gonna be great, and no one's gonna know. So I think probably truer confidence is being able to say, look, I really don't like this, and just doing it. And because that what you're doing is you're serving yourself, not everyone else. And you're not apologizing for who you are or how you feel.
Yeah, Walnut, I'd love to hear your take on confidence and if any of this is resonating with you, because when I listened to it back, it was that like whole interview, Kate, that was like how I mentioned at the beginning, it was really structured and I had all these questions because I always thought of you, not always, I still love you, I sort of thought of you as this really embodied confident person. And then when we were discussing it, you were mentioning that the power of the mind, right, on the inside, you really didn't feel like that at times. It's just this thing. But when you kind of start to notice and uncover some layers of why you do things in relation to confidence, like my acting cute and dumbing myself down, which I've done a lot, and like with you, Kate, like not letting anyone see this weakness. It's a really interesting topic, and I think it's going to be really important along anyone's walnut journey, because that's what kind of being a walnut does actually stem down to at the end of the day, is your response to the situations that you decide to be in.
Or like that, it's like we talked about the future of the podcast and stuff too, is like even now when I think about episode 10, and I should listen to think if maybe I said it in a better way back then, but that it evolved to the point that, you know, less than a couple years later, maybe I'm like, that might not even have been a good advice. You know what I mean? And that confidence doesn't have to be what we kind of think it is in the dictionary or what we conjure up in our head. I mean, for a lot of the time, I would think confidence is someone who's super comfortable public speaking and can make people laugh and tell a story. And that's what I wanted to be. And I sort of did fake my way into being it. But I think also deep down, that's always who I was. So I can't tell everyone that's what to do, because that's not like everyone doesn't need to be a stage stealer like I am. I fully admit that's what I am. It's what my dad is, you know. I'll just do that thing.
Peacock.
And completely. And I was shy for a long time. So I think I had to overcome something that didn't feel, it was weighing who I really was down. Whereas other people are quieter, and there's that thing of quiet confidence, which is kind of, for people loud like me, I find really like, ooh, I like that. You know, it seems stronger to me because I can't do that. It's not because I need to fake my way to doing it. It's because that's not the category for me. So yeah, it's good to have brought it up again, because I think I was sort of trying to put this cookie cutter frame on it. When, you know, we all know as well, too much confidence leads to arrogance, and no one likes that either, you know? So there's lots of shades to it. I guess it would be saying is making your outward feel how you should feel inwardly, and feeling completely at peace with that is whatever confidence is for you.
I love that. That you're so right. And you weren't, that episode is bloody gold, by the way. There were so many beautiful nuggets. It was a really good conversation. But the reason why I wanted to bring this one up is because, yes, you and I are on both ends of that like personality spectrum, and we just kind of like fit together like glue. Also on a human design level, we like complete each other's open centers, and that's probably why we're such good friends. But we bring those two elements to the table, and I wanted to go back to that one because so much has changed for me since then. So I felt like it probably has for you as well. So I just thought it was like a really nice like full circle moment to bring that back into episode 100. But I wrote down what your definition of a walnut was back then at episode 10, because I asked everyone. You kind of you didn't give like a snap sentence. You talked about a little bit more. Walnut, I encourage you to go back and listen to the episode, because I think I want to talk about this a little bit more. But Kate, you said one of the pieces was that being a walnut is you are what you decide to be.
Oh,
which I thought was so
good. I came back. Yeah, I stand by that. That's good.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add before we wrap up episode 100?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, like, I could just keep talking for ages. I mean, I'm just happy to be here. I think it's really cool, all the people who follow the podcast, all the people listening right now and putting comments and questions. Like, I feel like I know everyone. I mean, I edit a lot of the episodes, but also I'm in the groups, and I just think you've cultivated a really wonderful place, safe place for a lot of people. And I just love our conversations. And 100 episodes is just, I mean, it's freaking amazing. Congratulations again.
Thank you. And Emily has commented, I loved that episode, fake it till you make it for sure. I love that episode, fake it till you make it for sure, but tailored to the individual, raise the roof emoji. Yeah, totally feel that, Emily. What was I going to say? I'm just really happy that you've been on this journey with me, Kate, and just on that, like, you know, coming from two different ends and like completing each other. Soulmates, delicious bananas.
You are.
It's proven to be a really good 10 episodes, and I think it will keep going, because sometimes, and I've done an episode about this on my own, but I found the confidence to use my voice. The reason of the podcast was I was so scared of my own voice and expressing myself through voice. And sometimes, and especially through controversial topics and things like that, I like psych myself into this thing, and then my words don't make sense, or my open throat chakra will just be like, you're done, stop talking. So these conversations with you, Kate, as well, have been really powerful, because I can use my voice in collaboration with you, who your voice is quite strong, and you say what you mean, and it comes out in the way, well, at times, obviously
Sometimes.
mood dependent and all of emotional intelligence and all the things, but you're good at that, whereas this has been a challenge and a point of growth of mine. So I've been able to collaborate with you to express. You always manage to finish my sentences. You're going to need to do it now and do the thing
Sorry.
Yeah,
I like that you like that about me, though, because I do try to finish everyone's sentences, and that's toxic trait. No, I loved that episode you did about that, collaborating with the voices, and I think that is really special. But I also think what's cool is you haven't been like, oh, I need to get better at using my voice. You've decided to go on a journey that made you accept the way that you express things is just as worthy as anyone else. You don't have to get better. You don't have to be the same as someone else. You just have to learn to like not get so frustrated and be able to just go blah, whatever, and I lost my train of thought and I'll come back, because that's you, and that's beautiful, and that's fine,
Yeah. So I thank you for being here in those moments where I want to say something and it just doesn't work, and I've flustered myself, because we've touched on some delicious things. Anna says, oh my God, I was today years old when I realized that the walnut tree is a safe garden for us, and that we are all the walnuts.
Oh, so sweet.
Happy birthday, today years old, Anna. Awesome. Yes, please use the walnut tree. And if you are listening to this on Walnut Wednesday, please celebrate. And also, if you're here live and you're enjoying yourself, please take a little screenshot of Kate and I. If you're on the audio, we just paused to do a little face. Take a little screenshot and share and tag us on Instagram. I'm at Walnut Wednesday and Kate is at Miss K Bromley. And you can go in the door to win a prize. And if you're wearing your walnut swag, I'm doing another round of like walnut t-shirts and mugs and things like that. So just get in touch if you want to grab something. But if you have some already, send me a pic and you'll go in the door to win another prize. Because I think I wanted to do t-shirts and things because I just wanted everyone to be reminded to be brave and to be a walnut. And to me, that hasn't changed at all. Being a walnut is a person who decides to be brave, and we've always got, everything comes down to choice, and it's who you decide to be in that moment. And if you decide to be an asshole in that moment, own being an asshole and do it, like it's not, things get so big in our brains. But before we wrap up again, Kate, what does being a walnut mean to you at episode 100?
Oh, the pressure. I liked what you were saying before, just about like, if you're not so own it. I think we know when we're not being authentic. There are many times, like sometimes being polite and swallow, like, biting your tongue isn't the right thing. You're being inauthentic. Sometimes it is the best thing to do, all those things. So I'd say being a walnut means being authentically yourself, but in a way that makes you proud. Because we all have our bad sides and our bad times, but genuinely being like, but I know who I am, and I can accept that I've got my flaws, and I own those flaws because I'm authentically myself.
I love that. And I love the word authentic because it's a trigger word for me. It's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't know that. That was nice. Nice little coincidence.
Yeah. Walnut, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Everybody in the Walnut Tree who is here right now, thank you for your time. Stick around after I stop the record button because because I have something I want to talk to you about right after. But Walnut, happy Walnut Wednesday, episode 100. Send me a picture of you listening to this. Send me a picture of you celebrating with me. I'm so happy and grateful for you and your time and for being here, whether you've been here for just this episode or you've listened to all 100 or you've just listened to Kate's ones or you're here because of one of the other amazing guests I've had. I'm so grateful for you being actually here on this journey and spending some time with me. So thank you so much. And Kate, my darling angel, favorite person in the whole universe, I appreciate you. I love you. And I'm so grateful that you've come on here, which started as a joke, but not started as a joke. The interview wasn't a joke, but the
you can't
ongoing
get out
thing.
of it now.
Yeah, I love it. And I want it to stick. I want it to stick. I enjoy it and I want to keep it going forever. It also helps me timestamp things too. So it's been beautiful to have you here and I'm so grateful for you and I love you so much.
I love you and you know I'm always grateful to be here as well. It's really special to be part of this. So thank you.
Love you. All right, Walnut, have a happy Walnut Wednesday and I am going to end this episode here. Bye.
Bye.